Welcome to FMH Insurecast, a podcast created by Farmers Mutual Hail designed to deliver expertise and insights from trusted FMH team members and industry experts. Each new episode will dive into new products, industry updates, and innovative solutions. Let's get to today's topic.
Hello and welcome back to the FMH Insurecast. My name is Ryan Bennis. I am a regional sales manager here at FMH and I am your host. Let's jump into today's topic. Late last year, FMH announced we were forming a brokerage division. Since then, we've been working hard to get it up and running, and we're happy to announce FMH's new division, Ag Brokerage Solutions, is officially open for business. I have two special guests with me here today. We'll start on the far end of the table over there. Willie Jones, why don't you introduce yourself, tell us what you do here at FMH, and maybe a fun fact about yourself.
Well, I don't have many fun facts, but my name is Willie Jones, AVP of Sales, Ag Brokerage Solutions. With FMH, I've worked in claims and I've worked in the marketing department, working with our agency partners on getting FMH P&C agents up and running, knowledgeable about our property and casualty products. Not really much for fun facts. I don't know. I don't have. I'm not very interesting, Ryan.
Well, Willie, you grew up in Wyoming. That's like 0.01% of the population is from Wyoming. So I feel like that's a fun fact by itself.
So there is a fun fact. I am from Wyoming, and I drove across the state for the first time, like from one side to the other, and I found out why Wyoming has so few people, and it is a complete desert, and nobody can possibly live out there, which is why there's nobody that comes from Wyoming. So fun fact, I go to wherever I travel, I see a Wyoming license plate, and this is, for all you rural people out there, I can nail down basically where you're from and know a cousin or a friend of yours by name just because of so few people out there.
Oh, wow. Hey, that's pretty impressive right there. Brent Walker is also with us. Brent, why don't you do the same? Tell us what you do here at FMH, fun fact about yourself, and why you're here today.
My name is Brent Walker. I am Chief Brokerage Officer, and I don't know that I can follow his fun fact. I felt pretty good about my fun fact before Willie went, but for those of you who are getting to know me, an interesting fact about me is I do not like community silverware. I will always opt for plastic. I think there's something inherently wrong with silverware used by many people and questionably washed. So I'm going to go with plastic.
Do you own silverware?
I do, but it's not community owned. It's just mine. So even if they're not washed all the way, it's still just my germs.
Okay, that's fair. All right, let's jump into this. We're talking about Ag Brokerage Solutions. I'll start with you, Brent. Why did FMH start Ag Brokerage Solutions?
It's a great question, and I'm happy that you invited me on the podcast to share the story. And for those of you that have been with FMH a long time, or maybe some of you are new to FMH, our mission statement and our vision statement are centered around the idea that FMH will provide complete farm insurance solutions and innovative solutions. And so when Shannon Rutledge and I began talking a year and a half or so ago, we started with the premise of how can we succeed in building that complete farm insurance solution mission. And the idea that we generated was to create a FMH-owned wholesale brokerage that would enable us to offer an unlimited amount of P&C solutions to our FMH agency partners so that they can provide those solutions to their farmers and their crop customers.
So, question on that for our audience. Tell us more. What is a wholesale brokerage? What are we actually doing here?
Sure. So a wholesale brokerage, which is also sometimes referred to as an MGA or an MGU, there are some nuances there, but essentially what we're going to be able to do is to help our agents find other carrier markets for any number of insurance needs. So these are risks that FMH is not going to be the risk-bearing entity on. It's not FMH's underwriting paper. It will be another farm carrier or another solution provider. We have contracts with a number of financially stable, A-rated carriers so that a farmer can bring us a risk. We can go to our market relationships and find the appropriate insurance solution for them and then provide that solution back to our agent. It enables the retailer or our FMH agent, and perhaps it's a crop only agent, they don't have to handle the relationship piece of managing those carrier contracts. We do that on their behalf.
Can you, either one of you, Willie or Brent, give us a handful of those organizations we might be familiar with, or that the industry folks might be familiar with?
Yeah. So out of the gate here, we're starting with the admitted markets. And when we're talking about our crop insurance relationships, we are in 47 states. Is that where we're at on the crop side? And so we need to be aware of those carrier relationships that can service those agents that we have out in the field. So we're partnered with several national carriers, Nationwide, Liberty Mutual, State Auto, Markel, and a couple of regional carriers too that we're working on getting up and running for some of those maybe risks that some of those national carriers don't have an appetite for, or if we're looking for some of those regional carriers that are more specialized in an area, we'll be searching those out too. And then we've got a nice focus on a lot of these farmers and agriculture, specific risks have animal mortality, whether it's equine, livestock, and I think, Brent, they can even do some exotics. But we're really nailing down those markets for to pick up, the national footprint is what we're looking for.
Gotcha. So we're talking about Ag Brokerage Solutions. We also refer to it as ABS. You can see on Brent and I's shirt. Thank you for the shirt, Brent. Appreciate it. And I heard that at one point we were going to put the logo a little lower.
Yes.
A little closer to the midsection.
Well, we're going to get t-shirts. That's the goal. They probably won't be for external sale. But for those of us inside the organization, yeah, we want to get one of those tuxedo looking shirts, where it's a t-shirt that looks like a tuxedo. We're going to do the same thing, but it's going to have a 6-pack of abs on it, and it's going to say ABS right across it. I'm still pushing very hard to get my abs t-shirt made.
Excellent. So Ag Brokerage Solutions, ABS, abs, whatever you call it. What are we looking to cover out there?
Yeah, I think Willie did a really nice job of high level covering our appetite today. We're looking for admitted risks. We will expand into E&S and non-admitted solutions likely in the neighborhood of about 6 months from now. But today we're looking to provide solutions from things like ag retainment, animal mortality. We have pet insurance options if you have a dog or a cat. There are some commercial agriculture risks that we're able to entertain, like hog confinements or poultry farms. And then you can get into some specialty lines of business that are often brought to a rural agent's office, things like 2-day festivals, parades, hole-in-one insurance, some true specialty insurance options. We have those markets available today as well.
Doing hole-in-one insurance? That makes me excited.
I know, because well, we're not going to let you play. That's part of the underwriting process.
Oh, no.
We're going to offer
underwriting.
Yeah, we're going to have a hole-in-one insurance, but only if Ryan doesn't play.
Oh, man. Well, that takes the fun out of it. Awesome. Hey, Willie, can you give us maybe some more unique risks that we are able to find some coverage for?
Well, when you're talking agriculture and farmers, nowadays it's not the old 300-acre farmer, 500-acre farmer. It's gotten bigger. There's just a lot more going on. And when I was in the field and talking to our agent partners, every farm's different. And when you say unique, every carrier has their specific guidelines that they go through and they use and that they deem profitable to have an acceptable risk. But every company also thinks they do it right, and every company does it different. And what I've found out and what we've found out here in the market is these farms have got extremely diversified and equipment has gotten very expensive. And, what you're finding is, for example, you bought this big high cycle sprayer, but you can't justify doing it just your stuff. So what you're doing is you're custom spraying. Well, when you're talking admitted markets and you're talking personal lines business, that kind of throws it out of that. So what's that agent doing? They've got to go search for a broker, or maybe they don't have an outlet and that insured is going to the neighboring agency and trying to find an outlet. And, with Farmers Mutual Hail trying to service our our crop insureds and our crop agents, the last thing we want to do is have, another agent partner, take business away from our crop agents as well. So that's a good question, because it may not sound like a crazy risk, but it's a risk that can be tough to place. And that's where the brokerage is going to come into play.
Yeah. And I think I'll add that, early days here, we've seen some things come in, to your point, some of the unique things. And again, to Willie's point, it may not be an entire risk. It might be a piece of a risk, right? It's just one part of something that doesn't quite fit where their markets are today. So we've gotten requests for trucking, so some grain hauling. And we've gotten requests for work comp coverage. We have a really nice solution for agriculture-based work comp, which is kind of a tougher carrier market to find a solution for. So things like livestock hauling, we're able to entertain on a work comp side. And then we recently secured an irrigation pivot market. So the monoline pivots, that's a very tough thing to find a solution for. But we've been able to find a solution for that as well. So there are a lot of unique pieces of a farming operation where maybe they don't need help with the whole farm, but they need help with a piece of it. And we hope to step in and be able to fill that gap.
Awesome. I'll just say from my own experiences, I've obviously known that we're rolling this out for a handful of months. So I've had some brief conversations with some of the crop insurance agents that I work with. And anybody that's doing anything on the P&C side of the business seems to be quite interested in what we're doing here. And I'm just curious from your guys' perspective, what makes this unique where they're like, yeah, I kind of need that. So what is it? What is the industry missing that ABS is helping solve?
I'm so glad you asked that question. It's almost like you were prompted to ask that question, because it's the $1 million question. But I think that we've uncovered a gap in the market. What's unique about Ag Brokerage Solutions is that we're a wholesaler model, MGA model, that focuses exclusively on the agriculture space. We're looking to find solutions for agriculture partners, agriculture adjacent classes of business. There are a lot of wholesalers that exist in the United States, and there are a lot of choices when it comes to doing business with a wholesaler. But as far as we can tell, there's nobody out there today that is focused exclusively on the ag space. It just happens to be, a person or two people within a brokerage. They happen to do some agriculture stuff. They have a contract or two, but they're really not true experts in the space. FMH has 130 years of farming expertise, and we're intending to leverage that farming and agriculture expertise into becoming the agriculture wholesaler of choice for agriculture related risks. So we think that's really the unique wedge and difference between us and some other markets.
Anything to add to that, Willie? I know you've probably talked to more agents than anybody in terms of what we're talking about here with ABS.
Absolutely. There's a lot of interest, and just in the last week or so, when a lot of our agent partners are seeing the bulletins going out, when you say, what interests them, man, the property and casualty market right now, and especially if you've been living in the Midwest, it's been very, very difficult to make money, just with with weather, the 4-letter words, wind and hail. It's just been an extremely tough market out there right now. So you're also seeing a lot of these carriers kind of pull the reins back, whether it's with rate, whether it's with deductible options, and sometimes they're even pulling out of a market or pulling out of a state. And so that's got our agent partners very interested in, they've got a book of business and they need to protect that book of business and find solutions for their insureds. And it's just a tough market right out there right now. And this is just another solution, kind of another tool in the toolbox, to drop that metaphor out there. But that's really what this is about, is to help our agents and help our insureds find those solutions for their agricultural risk.
Perfect. So we obviously have a lot of agents listening right now that might be interested in this. So my question to you openly is, how would somebody get started working with ABS?
Right now, it's kind of getting to myself and getting a profile out there. It's a separate contract from your crop insurance contract. So we are a separate division. So we would need a separate contract. So I get that profile, I get that contract out to you. And once we get you contracted, we're kind of pointing everybody to our website, www.agbrokerage.solutions.com. And that's where you're going to find our appetite guide. That's where we're going to really be working on funneling what particular risk you're looking for to a particular consultant. Right now, we've got the animal mortality side and Michelle Ruff. We've got the commercial, kind of the agribusiness side and work comp side with Lexi Fryer. And then we've got our farm and ranch, which kind of goes to some of our farmers, FMH, ABS farm underwriters. And Brent can kind of follow up and elaborate on it. But we're in kind of we've only been out at this about a week, and we're going to grow as this thing grows, and we're going to refine and really sharpen or soften those edges on our process to make it as smooth as possible and continue the FMH service that our insureds and agent partners are used to with Farmers Mutual Hail.
I think Willie brings up a good point. I think that we should take just a minute to talk about, the appetite today and the growth opportunity that we have within ABS. It's easy to want to do everything for everybody on day one. But this is very much in its infancy. We've only been open for less than a week. And we feel like we have a lot of very viable, great solutions available today. But we absolutely intend to grow not only our distribution, but our carrier contracts, and to grow the base of solutions that we're going to be able to offer. You had heard me earlier in the podcast mention MGA versus a wholesaler. The biggest difference between a wholesaler and an MGA is essentially the delegated authority to underwrite or act on a carrier's behalf. So today, a lot of our markets, we're just basically a relationship manager, being able to manage those contracts and help you find that solution. When we start growing, we're going to start to look to open up specific programs that we design tailored to the agriculture space, where we'll have an exclusive arrangement and we'll have the ability to underwrite those in-house. So I think Willie hits the nail on the head when he says that we're just now kind of, on day one, scratching the surface of what this will ultimately be over a longer period of time. And for any of you out there that are listening, if you have ideas on solutions, products that you need, help that you need with certain things, if you have feedback for us, we would love to get that feedback so we can help build that out for you long term.
Awesome. Question. If I'm an agent, I've been appointed with FMH through ABS. I know a little bit about how this works, but maybe not a ton. How do I get a quote? I have a potential risk that I think we could place with ABS. How do I get to the point where I'm actually selling that policy in conjunction with ABS?
I'm gonna let Willie answer that question, but the first thing I'll say is, in terms of getting contracted, you're saying, maybe I'm a crop only agent, maybe I don't do P&C today. How do I get a quote? I would just let everyone know kind of up front. The first step, obviously, is you have to have your P&C license. Even though that we're acting as the wholesaler, you still need to be licensed to sell P&C, and your E&O needs to be able to protect against it. As long as you have those two things in place within your agency, then I think the opportunities are endless through the brokerage solution. So I'll let Willie speak directly to an actual life cycle of a policy inquiry.
Yeah, and that's another thing we're working on with scratching the surface to refine our process. But right now, you can go to our website, and there's a tab on there that says obtain a quote. And we're in our infancy on this, but what you'll do is you'll reach out to us with a specific risk, and we'll funnel that towards one of our specialists. So if you say, hey, I have a trucking exposure I'm looking for, it would go to our commercial underwriter or consultant that would help you out on that. Once you get familiar with the application process, right now it starts with the Cord apps, and it goes to that obtain a quote, and then we'll funnel it to the specialist that we'll have working with you. But like I said, we're at the start of this, and we're going to refine and get this process down much smoother. And we're also very, very open to agent feedback, and any agent feedback is good feedback, whether it's good or bad, because we'll take it and run with it. and hopefully, make the process as smooth as we can, because there is a lot of feedback out there with these wholesale brokerages with, maybe not as quick a follow-up. Maybe it takes a while to get back. We want to, still provide that service that you're used to through Farmers Mutual Hail. And that's at the end of the day, it's a relationship business, and we want to really strive to provide the best solution and service that we can to our agent partners.
For our agents out there, we've kind of covered how they can get signed up, but we also have farmers that listen to this show. What if they think they have a risk that would be suited specifically for ABS? How might they get connected to try and get a quote?
Yeah, so we don't do anything direct to consumer. So they would need to partner with an agency. But if they have an agency that they work with today, if they have an insurance agent, whether it be their insurance agent on their home and auto, or it's their crop agent, they would just need to go to their agent and say, hey, listen, I'd like to work with Ag Brokerage Solutions, and we'd like to have them get my business. Just have them reach out to us. And by us, I mean Willie. And Willie can get them set up with some appointment paperwork and get all the legal stuff out of the way that will allow us to do business on their behalf.
All right. I'm going to ask you this, Brent, without answering that Willie is your answer. How can somebody learn more about Ag Brokerage Solutions?
So there's a couple different ways. I won't say the website because I think we've talked about that. Obviously you can go to the website, but if you want to learn more, there is also an inbox for us. It's info at Ag Brokerage Solutions, and you can submit a request to info@agbrokerage-solutions.com, and we will get that inquiry in, and we'd reach out to them by phone or reply email, and we'll get them all the information that they need. So that would be the other way: the website or email, or go to their local agent or their current agent and have them reach out to us as well.
Call Willie.
Or call Willie. I didn't want to give Willie's phone number out, his personal cell phone number. I had to look on my phone to get it anyway.
555. No.
and I'll follow up with that a little bit. Right now, that info at Ag Brokerage Solutions that a lot of our agent partners have already gone to, I'm following up with a phone call, and basically I'm answering the questions that they have and kind of asking what markets they're looking for. Because when I kind of, compile all that information on markets, kind of like what Brent said earlier, if we find a particular risk that our agent partners are having trouble placing, we'll go out there and search for that solution with a carrier to see if we can't fill that gap for them. So right now at info at agbrokerage-solutions.com is kind of coming to my inbox, and I'm following up and kind of answering those questions.
So info at agbrokerage-solutions.com is essentially Willie's cell phone number. It's just going without actually saying Willie. It's going straight to him anyway.
Perfect. I'm going to ask you guys one more question to close here, but throw in anything else you want the audience to know before we sign off here.
Is it what my favorite quote is of all time? Because I have one.
Well, go ahead. Why don't you go there first?
You want me to go there first?
Yeah.
Okay. It's from the great philosopher Ted Lasso. And he says, and I quote, "Ain't nothing to it but to do it." That's my words to live by. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Ted Lasso. You heard it here first.
Is that on the website somewhere?
It's you know what? It should be. It just came out in the episode that I saw last night, so I need to get it updated.
I think I'm an episode behind you. I didn't hear that last night.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
I'm sorry. Did I spoil it for you?
You did.
Spoiler alert right there.
Perfect. Do you have a quote, Willie?
I don't have a quote no, I don't. I can't. I
don't
need to watch more Ted Lasso, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. So the last question I was going to ask you guys, tell me what you're most excited about with ABS over the next 6 months to a year as we're going to get started here. What are you most excited about? And then any closing words for our audience.
So, Willie, I'm going to go first. It's funny you asked the question, most excited. It's a really tough question. It's a great question, because I tell the team all the time, I was like, Ag Brokerage Solutions and where we are at in our life cycle is essentially taking someone and putting them in a room full of puppies. And each puppy is different. Each puppy, this puppy is, non-admitted farm, and this puppy is, E&S this and excess casualty that. And MGA, MGU. There's so many puppies. There's so many directions that we could take this thing. And I keep picking puppies up and petting them and putting them back down. So I think eventually we're going to own all of the puppies. I think we will. We'll have them all. But picking one puppy, that's a tough question. So when I said I'm going to go first, I just meant I was going to give you that analogy. And now I'm going to have Willie pick a puppy. And then I'm going to pick my puppy after he does.
I'm just imagining a room full of puppies right
Oh my
now.
God, it's tremendous. There's so much.
I think I would definitely float towards the golden retriever type puppy. So what would that be in this analogy?
I think I have that analogy. So being in the field the last, 10 or 15 years, there's always been, with our crop agents, they are experts when it comes to crop insurance. And they've always wanted to dabble in property and casualty, or they've always been asked, hey, can you write my policy, my farm policy? And a lot of times they're referring that business to maybe a neighboring agent that maybe even refers them the crop insurance. You have some of those outlets out there, those relationships. This gives those agents an opportunity that maybe they wouldn't otherwise have because they either can't obtain the contract, maybe they don't have the time, and it gives them the opportunity to write the neighbor's farm, right? Where in the past they really didn't either have the expertise or couldn't get the carrier relationships for it. So this opens up that door for them, which I think is exciting, especially with our footprint out there in nationwide and the carriers that we've picked up that do write nationwide. So it really gives everybody an opportunity to write farm business or agricultural related business. And just because it's, ABS, Ag Brokerage Solutions, we're going to have outlets out there for some of that Main Street business too. So that's kind of exciting, I think.
Awesome. Any last words, guys, before we sign off here?
Well, I got to pick my puppy still. I got to pick my puppy. So I think in terms of my priority list,
not to cut you off, but don't we have a quasi mascot, which is a puppy for Ag Brokerage Solutions?
We absolutely do. And I think that's how we end this thing. So let's circle back to Atlas. I'll pick my analogy puppy, and then we'll talk about the real puppy.
Okay.
But I think in my priority list, I think the next big hurdle for us to come to market will be an E&S solution. To Willie's point, a lot of our options today are admitted products. And I think once we get into the E&S space, I think that it's going to open up a lot of doors and a lot of potential for us to do a lot of really creative things to help our partners. And I think that's the end goal. So I think E&S is the next big thing for Ag Brokerage Solutions. We'll continue to work on the admitted products and build some solutions out with what we've got going on today. But the next big thing will be E&S, and it is coming. Now, Atlas, we offer pet insurance. We have a tremendous pet insurance option for any of you out there listening. It's really cool. Essentially, what you'll do is you'll contact Willie. You'll send him your agency logo, and we will create a customized web page specifically for you and your agency with your agency logo on it. And that will enable you to write pet insurance online. It's a complete pass through. There's no underwriting by us. It doesn't come to us. It's all behind the scenes technology, API driven, but you'll be able to, in a matter of less than 5 minutes, be able to write pet insurance on dogs and cats. And to your point, Ryan, the very first policy that we ever wrote here at Ag Brokerage Solutions was a pet insurance policy for a German Shepherd puppy named Atlas. So he has inherently become our mascot. He's absolutely precious. I'm not biased at all because it's my daughter's dog. So I'm not biased at all. I shouldn't have said that. I should have just.
No, you're good.
Okay.
I just actually realized that you told me a while back we were going to have the dog here for this, and I'm now disappointed.
Well, I brought Atlas in. I did bring him in, not today, but he has been to the office. He made the rounds, but we'll get him back in. He's in town. He's on summer break from college. So we'll bring him back in here.
All right. That'll be on the next episode. Guys, thank you so much for joining the FMH Insurecast today. For the audience, please be sure to subscribe to whatever platform you are listening to this on, whether it be iTunes, Spotify. And we're happy to have you listening, and we'll talk again next week.
Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
ABS. There you go. Thanks, Brent.
You've been listening to FMH Insurecast. We appreciate you joining us today and would like to hear from you. If you have questions about today's topic or an idea to share for an upcoming podcast, you can contact us at fmhpodcast@fmh.com. Thanks for listening. This podcast is intended for information purposes only. See policy provisions, terms, and conditions for details. Products underwritten by Farmers Mutual Hail Insurance Company of Iowa and its affiliates, West Des Moines, Iowa. Farmers Mutual Hail is an equal opportunity provider.